Hey guys! Happy Friday! It's the last Friday in May, and we are here in Charlottetown. Yeah, it is rainy and cold. It is not pleasant.
No, it's not spring, folks.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. Kevin, tried to eat one of our tomato plants. He, snapped it.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. What a little monster. He's like, I didn't take him for his walk today, so he was like, I'm going to eat a tomato plant. So.
One of our youngest dogs likes to snap off the ends of our Solomon seal.
Oh.
Which are actually toxic.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure those are not good for him.
So I spent a lot of time outside gardening and just trying to dig them out of her mouth. But she's a lab and she's just an idiot. She's like, oh, that's food.
I can eat that.
Yeah.
Can I put it in my mouth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
If it fits, I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So, welcome, and today we have a really good topic that kind of covers a lot, kind of gets to the core of some of what you guys are eventually going to start trying to sort out if you're not already in that stage, because on this page it's just everyone's kind of at a different stage, and your curiosities, this is what the page is here for. You get to be curious, ask questions. So we're going to try and fill out some of those blanks for you today, and hopefully do it in a succinct way, but in the end, please don't hesitate to ever message us privately or message on the page and just try and recap this stuff, because there's a lot of info. So
yeah, there is.
Don't hesitate.
I have a whole page of notes.
I know. I'm going to switch this.
I love
This way.
my notes, yeah.
Notes are good.
Yeah.
So grab your pen and paper, and please ask questions down below if you want to chime in. And I'll check on my phone as well, and then just do that.
You got the...
I do. I got the thing up.
Okay, awesome. So today we are talking about what you need to know if you're planning to move here and buy, whether you're planning to buy right away or maybe within a year of moving here, or 5 years. But just if you're planning to buy a property when you're here on PEI. And the first thing that we want to talk about is agency and making sure that you have an agent when you're working to work with you to help you find the right property. And there's a couple different scenarios that you might need to be aware of, and one of them is whether or not you're actually going to be here to look for a property. Some people will do a buying trip where they'll come down for a weekend, a week, a couple days, do an extensive and not extensive, an intensive buying trip where they take 3 days and they have a list of properties that they want to see. We usually see maybe 5 per day.
That's
After that, it's your brain gets jumbled. Everything just kind of gets overwhelming. Yeah.
And it's true. We have clients here right now, and it's been kind of a steady, relatively steady stream of folks coming to the island for that kind of intensive period of time. And then Amy and I will take turns. You'll do showings one day, and I'll do showings the next day. And then so we try not to overwhelm too much, but there's a lot of info, and it's a lot of energy, and there's a lot of driving. So. Yeah, I mean, it's a great way to do it. It's one way to do it.
It's one way to do it. And even I've done buying trips before, as the buyer, and any more than that, and it's too much even as the buyer.
Yeah, it's heavy. And as the agent too, sometimes you just, part of what we do so much just automatically in this trade is kind of absorb some of that stuff for people. Yeah. So I find that by osmosis, you're a little overwhelmed at times with your client, and it's a team effort.
Yeah, but it's but you didn't like that property because of this, and then they're like, oh yeah, and it's you kind of have to remember all the facts.
Well, and you also kind of know where your clients are, so you can figure out body language and the way they look at homes, and you can kind of just get a clue, and it's okay, well, something's not clicking. Tell me, and there's an allowance for you when you have agency to speak freely as well. And have that person really kind of advocate for you through the process.
But so if you're coming here and you're doing a buying trip, then that's one thing.
Yeah.
One thing that we've done is we've actually also done all the buying by video.
Yeah.
So where we've gone out and we've done videos, and I actually I think I deactivated the playlist on my YouTube channel the other day because I had a whole list of videos for some clients that anytime that they wanted to see a property, we would go out and we would do a video, and then we would upload it to YouTube on like a private, screening playlist, and then they could go through and they could see all the different properties that they wanted to see, and so that's one way we could do it. So that's, and then they can also see all the properties that they've looked at throughout the time and
organize it. What works best for them. I've done that in the past and I've used WeTransfer for those big files, and then just send them directly email. So uploading YouTube is great. WeTransfer is great. So there's a few ways to do it, and ultimately, what it gives you a chance to do if you're just doing a video is like you're giving kind of a fairly intensive tour of that home. So you're almost trying to be the eyes of those clients and get a sense of what are the details they might miss, what do they need to know, because it's our job to be really on top of those things and be a set of eyes and guidance.
Yeah, well, you're looking at not only like the house as like a home to live in, but you're looking at the windows, you're looking at the roof, you're looking at the gutters, you're looking at the basement, the oil tank, like all of those details. Like not only, it's like when we're at a property, we're looking at the house with a client, but we're also looking at the mechanics of the house and what are we needing to see.
That's right.
Not just the pretty stuff, but the actual inner workings of the house, right?
Into the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we found that the virtual stuff works pretty well. If you're open to it, it's a really good tool, and we have the technology, so there's no reason not to use it. It'll also alleviate it's financially cheaper. Than flying down here or driving. We have clients here now who just moved here from Georgia, and they're just like, their whole life is anyway, but it's kind of remarkable what people do. But if this is a way that we can make it easier for you, then we have the technology, we're very well versed in that kind of tour, and there's no reason why you can't connect the dots that way.
We have had clients that have come down for the buying trip and then they didn't find it, and then we continued the search via video, and that works.
Great.
One thing that we have to do though is then we have to be there for every step after it, and this is important, that even if it's not us guys, and this is not a sales pitch, like this is just one thing that we do, and there are lots of great agents on PEI, and this is one of those things that it's like we're not made for everybody, and not everybody's made for us.
100%.
So when you're going out there and you're looking for an agent to represent you, make sure that you click well with an agent, make sure that they are working for you. So when we're there, we meet up, especially if the client can't be there, but we're there for the inspection, for the last part of it, to make sure that we can ask the questions, to make sure that we're understanding everything about the house for the client, so that we can be the ones that are asking the questions and making sure that we're understanding all the parts of the house that we need to.
For sure.
We're there for closing.
You're there for closing. Are you talking about, sorry, just to back up, are you talking about like the agency if like the client's not present?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, so, and if it's something you can't be present for at all, then we use virtual as much as we possibly can. But we're there kind of fairly intensely throughout the whole process. Like Amy said, we're probably going to take you through virtually in the last half hour, 40 minutes of the inspection. We're going to be there for just kind of all the nitty-gritty stuff. And at the very end, the closing means that when we do a final walkthrough, we're probably going to take you on through video as well and just cover everything that's been agreed upon. And then with closing, lawyers,
whether you're here or not, you don't have to be here on PEI.
The one thing I will say about that, and it's totally doable, is that lawyers here still don't use digital signing for documents, so they will snail mail you or FedEx or whatever you the actual physical documents, and then they get signed where you are and then sent back here to a lawyer. So that said, it's our job to have a Rolodex of resources to recommend and feel confident in that recommendation, that they're going to treat you well through the whole process. So we have all those resources, and a good realtor will just be able to handle a lot of that stuff for you, because there's so much that's going to be different from the way that real estate is handled in your hometown than on the island, because it's just regulated very differently in every single continent and province.
Yeah. So one thing that we have here on PEI is that we do have dual agency.
We do.
So that means that the listing agent can also then represent the buyer.
Yes.
So I know, is it Ontario that doesn't have dual agency?
And Nova Scotia doesn't. No, Nova
No,
Scotia does.
Nova
That's right.
Scotia does.
It does,
Yeah.
But
So,
Ontario does
but
not.
Ontario doesn't.
Yeah.
So in Ontario, the buyer cannot be represented by the listing agent.
That's correct.
So that's something that's different. So here you can just call up the listing agent. They can just show you the house, and then they can represent you on the sale of that house as to an extent.
But what are the cons of that? What happens with agency when you are working with both the listing agent as you're buying?
Well,
what happens?
you know, I can't say you should get an inspection. What I would say, as somebody who's both the listing agent and the buyer's agent, I would say most people get an inspection when they purchase a house.
So what happens is that their fiduciary obligation to fully represent and advocate for you becomes a moot point, because they have to sit on the fence between the two parties, and they cannot negotiate or exchange information in terms of negotiation for each party, but they can only push papers. So they have to really watch their P's and Q's, and it makes you a little vulnerable, it makes the seller vulnerable, and it can be tricky.
It is a very difficult place to be, just because it is as somebody who was initially with the listing agent, you know a lot of detailed personal information about the information of the seller, that you cannot just tell the buyer.
No,
right? So you have to hold a lot of cards very close. And the buyer wants you to try and tell them as much as you can, and it is a very fine line to walk. As an agent, we have to be very careful, and it's not one of our favorite things to do.
No, it isn't. But I will say, it's really subjective in the sense that if you're someone that's just worried about the transaction and you don't carry, your heart isn't, you know what I mean? If your response or your way of creating or going through it is a transactional way, and you are confident in your ability, aka maybe not your first time buying a property, this isn't your first rodeo, then some folks are okay with that dual agency, because to them it's just transactional. They're going to get it done, they know the P's and Q's, etc. But for most folks, statistically, the feedback is that I didn't feel represented. I didn't feel like that agent really had me in mind, couldn't negotiate for me, and because legally they can't. So that's where agency comes in. And so it's just like anyone. When you have your dentist and they treat you well, you go back to that dentist because they have your history, they have continuity of care, and you feel trusted, and you trust them. So that's what this kind of agency is really about. Yeah. It's a very important relationship.
Yeah. So that is just,
agency.
So here on PEI, some things that you should note is that when you're moving here, it is beneficial to talk to a local mortgage broker, but it is also potentially helpful to talk to your bank that you've been working with back where you're living. I spoke to both a mortgage broker here and also the bank that I'm with, and I compared what was offered to me when I was renewing my mortgage last time, and I just went with the best option and the best rate that I was able to get. So it really just comes down to who has the better option for you at that time, and just comparing and going with what's best. Sometimes it does help, depending on the property that you're buying. Sometimes having somebody here and knowing the market and knowing how properties here sometimes function, especially if it's something like a mobile home that's on piers instead of a foundation, or if you're buying something like a cottage. We do have some brokers here that are very, very well versed in those types of properties, and that not necessarily an out-of-province mortgage broker would be able to finance.
Not be savvy to.
Yeah,
it's true, because in a lot of those instances where it's a cottage or mobile home and there's no foundation involved, then it can go to a different lender, something like the Provincial Credit Union, which is regulated by PEI only. And so,
But even like there's a mortgage person at
Yeah.
RBC and she is like
Yeah.
she's like a go-to
Yeah.
person and it's like
Yeah.
our mortgage broker they'll be like no you gotta go see her
like,
and she's with a bank
Yeah,
right
it's true. Yeah.
and it's like no you gotta go see
That's
Rosemary.
right. Again, the fiduciary with obligations and agreement with a mortgage broker versus a bank is the mortgage broker is much like the relationship with your real estate agent. They are working for you, and they're working for you as a mandated by you only. Whereas someone in the bank, some people want that relationship with them, but they work with the bank first, right? So again, it comes down to relationship, and I kind of have to be careful about how I describe that. But there is a fiduciary involved with
A mortgage broker definitely has a fiduciary obligation to their client,
Yes.
which is you.
Yeah.
Which not necessarily does a mortgage specialist at a bank
At a bank.
have.
For sure.
That's all we're gonna say on that.
Yep, that's right. And that's just, it's good to have that knowledge.
All right, up next. We're gonna actually touch on multiple offer scenarios
Right.
because that is something that kind of falls under this whole agency thing and the differences between provinces. So we got into this a couple weeks ago where actually like the differences between the provinces kind of confused some people. And so we wanted to talk about it in PEI. Let's say you have an offer on a property and yay, we submitted an offer, we're really excited about this house, and then another offer comes in. Okay, so we are now officially in a multiple offer situation. The listing agent on that property is obligated to tell the first offer that another offer has come in, and they are then given the opportunity to change their offer and make it more appealing if they would like. However,
Can I just butt
yes.
in? And FYI, this is a question we always get, is do we know what the other offer was?
Yes.
All that information from anyone else's offer is always confidential. We never know what are the other offers say. And no details are given to us.
Yes.
Sorry.
So you only ever know what your offer is. And this is what I always say, and I think you pretty much say this too. It's like you have to offer what you feel comfortable offering.
Yep.
Right? This is not a competition.
No.
Because you are only offering what you feel comfortable offering. Because if you get in competition, then you want to win. And this is not about winning, this is about you being comfortable paying a price for a house.
Yes, and some folks do have a competitive edge, and they will offer it and say, what do I need to do to get the property? And at that stage, you can have a conversation based on what you know, and falling in line with what are you comfortable with. But some folks are more competitive than others.
But there are other things that you can do
Yep.
that can make your offer sound better. Like maybe you can't offer more money, but you can be extremely flexible on closing.
Totally.
Or
Maybe you can swipe one of the conditions.
maybe,
You don't have financing, you can do it cash instead of financing, great, take out that financing condition.
yeah. But,
Yeah, so it's we always get asked, do we know anything about the other offer? And the answer is always no. And not only that, but we're never allowed to ask for any information. It's really a no-no.
The only thing that we might know is who is submitting the other offer.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I don't
Sometimes
really
you can.
ask.
You can't really ask. The only time you might know is if it's like the listing agent that is doing the other offer, and if they're really good, then they'll disclose that.
What I have is true, and what I have been able to see, it's a bit like being a sleuth, right? There's moments where you have to collect the clues and just kind of comprise information and then make some educated decisions as much as you can. So what I've found can be helpful is having a conversation with the other listing agent saying, I know I can't ask you anything about the other offer, but would the seller really like a tighter closing date? Like you can
Is
get
there
information.
a closing
Date that would be best for your seller? Great, thanks for that information. So there is information that you can garner, and it's just knowing what the right questions are, but your realtor should be able to help you gather as much clues as they possibly can within their legal right that doesn't breach confidentiality terms. So it's again, knowing what your rights are and knowing that your realtor is going to kind of advocate for you and go, you know what, I can't tell you that, but let me find out. Let me see what I can find out. So, yeah.
So the thing is that when you then, if you resubmit your offer, once you do that, that is your final offer. It's like, this is your final and best offer, and that is what is going to be presented. And there is no other chance to renegotiate.
No.
What can happen is when they sit down with the seller is going to pick one.
Yep.
Basically, the seller can counter one of those offers.
That's right.
That can happen.
But they can only counter one.
But they can only engage with one offer. And so, but whether it's yours or not, it's kind of.
We have no control over that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where, you have to kind of prepare yourself for a sense of disappointment, and you're going to feel competitive. It's going to feel disappointing at times, or even like, oh man, we found the perfect house and then there's 3 other offers. Oh, this is so frustrating. We feel all of that for you because we've been through this a million times, and there's no point where we don't feel we know what you're going through, right? Because we've either been on the other side, or we just do this so much that we're just so aware of it. And so don't get too discouraged. Like Amy said, all you can do is do your best, and there's always a great home out there too, right? So we'll always just stick with you.
Yeah.
That way.
One thing I'll say is that in PEI, the thing that hasn't really met the same, climbed to the same standard as Ontario is the size of the deposit amount.
It's true. Yeah.
So we do have the deposits, just like other provinces, that when you make an offer, you are required to pay a deposit. Oftentimes in PEI, that deposit is due somewhere between 2 days after an accepted offer up to a week after an accepted offer. If what we commonly see is somewhere between $2,000 for a $400,000 property.
Up to 10 grand.
Up to 10,000. We have had a $30,000 deposit on a
like $1 million
over $1 million property, but that was
And it depends. Sometimes the sellers will request more money if there's more at stake, like SOVP. So really, it is a conversation to have, and it varies, like Amy said, between 2,000 or so and up, based on the kind of what's at stake, the conditions, the period of the conditions, the closing date, and the price of the home.
Yeah.
So there's a few variables in there. And there's no hard and fast rule about it, but typically goes 48 hours and upwards.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll write in a week if the deposit's $10,000, because there's a limit to how much they can
People
send per
have to
day,
send,
right?
yeah.
So you get a week to send $10,000. That's usually pretty cohesive.
Yeah. So, but we don't have these $50,000 deposits.
No, that's very big market stuff.
Yeah. We're pretty small.
Yep. We're small but mighty.
You did drop that SOBP acronym. So SOBP, sale of buyer's property, and that is the next point.
That's very good. Little foreshadowing there.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And this is talking about selling your house if you have to do that before you move.
Yeah.
Whether you're selling before buying or selling during buying. While you're buying. And so the SOBP offer is the sale of your buyer's property, and this would be the selling while buying. And this would be while your house is already on the market, wherever it is that you're living.
Or just about ready to be on the market.
Or just about ready to be on the market, and you come here and you find a house and you would like to make an offer on it based on the condition that you have to sell your house back home. And so what this is that it's a condition. It is often
the longest one.
So you are still going to work on the other conditions, the inspection clause, the financing clause, the insurance clause.
Sometimes the septic.
Septic and water. No, just septic, because water is. Septic clause if it's a rural property. So we are still going to work through those conditions. Because we don't want to hold up the rest of the sale based on those conditions, and the seller won't accept the the offer without
Yeah, we're
kind
gonna
of
go
ticking
those.
those off. But this other clause will continue on,
That's right.
right? And it's something to think about that it's really hard to make an offer based on the sale of your home if your home isn't A, already on the market, or B, pretty much ready
To go.
to go on the market now.
And some of that, like that can be influenced that by the buyer's property that they have to sell, what the speed of their market is, behavior of their market. And typically when we insert that clause, all the other conditions Amy mentioned, we'll do kind of typically a 2-week clause. And then what happens is if you're ready to strike those clauses and you've gone through them, meanwhile, you're still trying to sell your house and you've got a month to do it. We typically add it with 30 days.
Yeah.
What happens though, if you strike those other conditions, but you need to extend for another month, let's say, to sell your house because things are moving slow or it's not the right price or et cetera, then we can use deleting the conditions that we've already dealt with and then ask to extend that SOBP. And that's where it can become leverage for you. And usually it means that all parties are willing to keep trying with it, right?
And that you're working
towards getting it done.
to actually selling,
Totally.
that you're not massively overpriced,
Yeah.
that your house isn't a complete disaster, that that
Your realtors are working for
your
you.
realtors are working for
Yeah.
you, that maybe you're doing a price reduction because you are actively working to sell your home
That's right.
so that you're able to buy this one.
That's right.
And we're checking in with you, maybe with your agent.
Yeah.
We're communicating with the listing agent on the house that
Yeah.
you're buying here,
Yeah.
and communicating with everyone to make sure that we are all working together
Totally.
to get the property.
Yeah, and so it really is a domino effect.
Yeah.
And one thing can't happen without the other thing happening.
Because the seller of the property that you want to buy then also has to go off and probably buy a property too, right? Like everybody has to move. So
But let's talk about the one issue with the SOBP. So
yeah, the
in the
escape clause.
instance, there's an escape clause, and this is the only time that someone can bump your offer.
Yes.
It really is a tricky one, and every buyer should know this. If your realtor does not talk to you about this, this is really important for you to have in your wing. When you have the SOBP clause, and you have that clause in an offer on a home, if someone else comes along and offers on that same home without that SOBP clause, it does mean that the seller could accept that second offer and bump yours. But they have to give you a few days to kind of say, hey, we received a second offer. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's what you're going to say. Yeah. We've received a second offer. Can you delete that SOBP clause and firm this up now? Then the house, that's the way you can save the house. Did I describe that right?
Yeah. It's basically like, are you in a position to delete this clause?
Yeah. If not, then we're going to
accept this other offer.
clause. Yeah. So that's tricky, and
we call it bumping.
it's a bump. Yeah. And it can be a bummer. So again, this is just something to be prepared for. Things you should know.
Yeah.
I think
right.
that's pretty. I mean, that's SOBP's kind of a.
The other option is to sell and then buy.
Yeah.
Right?
And we have kind of a mix of both with our buyers, I find. And I find typically the stress level for the folks who have already sold and are buying after, their stress level's way down.
Yeah, well, they don't have that, just that
big thing weighing on the
shoulders. And I've been in that position too, where it's just like you have that kind of like weight on your shoulder of like, I gotta sell my house, I gotta sell my house, I gotta sell my house.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. It's heavy. It can be heavy. And other times it can just go whip, 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 and done. So, what else? Are these listing details? Is that something else?
Well, so then, I'm gonna share my screen here for a second.
Questions? Folks, if you have any questions at all, or if you're watching this later on, please feel free to fire us a message or post on the page, like I said, and we're happy to fill you in.
That's not what I want.
You want to share your screen?
I do. I wanted to.
Can't help you there.
Oh wait, is it this? No. I've only ever done it like,
Weird. Stream? No.
no,
Does anyone know how to share your screen?
I've only ever done it like when I'm actually like starting it.
Viewers, insights. Weird.
Make it.
Not interactivity?
No, I don't think so. That's both questions. Settings.
Stream. I'm watching our faces here. We both look ridiculous.
I know. I know. Yeah. All right.
Well, what could we do alternatively? Do you want to share the screen afterwards? Or is that kind of a moot point? Where is everybody?
I don't know.
Oh, everyone's out in the sunshine, I see.
Not here.
Uh-huh.
No sunshine here.
Oh,
Video. Anyway, well, I'm sad.
shoot. Well, maybe we could do like a
I
separate post or something. Alerts, insights. Yeah, that's weird. Huh. Do you want to hold it up? Can you hold it up to the screen like this? Here, can you read this back?
Here, let me see this.
Can you do it?
Where's realtor.ca?
There it is.
Where?
Back.
Oh, there we go. There's the app. What was the address that I wanted? There we go. This will do. I'll search it on your phone.
You gonna hold it up to the screen?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
So high tech. Guys, it's getting real over here.
Yeah, I know.
It's a 400,000 bungalow in
I'm gonna look at the Parkwood.
Parkwood Crescent.
I'm gonna look at the address 150 Parkwood Crescent in Charlottetown. It's a local listing. And one of the reasons is because, oh, there we go. It has on it, that it has the sold price history.
Oh.
And it sold for $150,000 back on May 30th, 2019. And the whole reason that I wanted to talk about that is because when you see a listing cut on PEI, that sale price back in 2019 is going to affect the assessment value. So the assessment value is based on the last sale price,
right,
or like the initial assessment value when it was built.
Which could be 1974.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like there literally is some properties that are assessed for like $90,000.
Yeah,
And
but that does not reflect the market value.
well, exactly. So like I'm like literally at this house one time, and it's like this property's assessed for $90,000, and it's currently being like asked like 400,000, and it's like these two numbers don't line up. But it's like, but
they're different numbers.
they're different numbers because it hasn't sold since 1970.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
So it will get reassessed upon closing.
And sometimes beforehand, like sometimes there's an appraisal.
Well, that won't affect the assessment value.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. And so, or the other thing is, if I look at, do you think?
Okay.
If I look at another one, like, this one, it doesn't even have any taxes because it's a new build, right? So any new builds don't have any taxes because they have never been assessed.
Yeah, and they
right?
won't until it closes and
Yeah.
it's done.
So my current statistical study of assessment values post-closing is showing that reassessment upon closing is coming in. It is falling in that 60 to 70% of purchase price,
Perfect. Yeah.
but new builds are coming in at about 85% of purchase
Wow.
price. Yeah.
That's a big dip.
Yeah.
Big climb, I should
That
say.
is huge.
Wow.
So, and I looked at Ann Ave.
Mm.
Those ones are 85%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you're buying a new build, your assessment is going to be at 85% of the purchase price, probably.
So tell us what that means for the new owner of that home.
That means that their taxes are going to be high.
Higher.
High.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So that's going to make a big difference. So the tax value that you see on realtor.ca, which for anybody from outside of Canada, especially if you're coming from the US, we don't really use Zillow here. It's not really a thing.
No.
We do tend to use the MLS, which is realtor.ca, to look for most of our properties. So what was I saying?
Taxes.
Oh yeah, the tax value that you see on there, it will go up significantly, especially if it hasn't changed hands in a while.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if you're seeing a property that's $1,000 in taxes annually, but they've been living there since 1985, then your taxes are going to be comparable to newer. Well, even we had to do that with Ann Ave. Like we kind of had to look at the taxes around the neighborhood to garner a ballpark, and that's really all you can do until the property has changed hands.
If you're looking at a new build that's around $400,000 in Charlottetown, you're probably looking at about $6,000.
That's pretty par for the course these days.
Yeah, and that might be a bit high. I know that mine are about 6,000.
Right.
And I paid $550.
Whereas my bungalow in Stratford is about 33,000.
Yeah.
Different, and that's just across the
And
village.
Stratford has high taxes.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
But my house in the country around the same much, 3,000.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So big.
But
no reason why I don't know. But I understand.
higher,
Yeah.
more recent
Right.
assessment.
And it was built 22 years ago and only lived in by one person. So
Yeah.
big change.
Yeah.
So that's and that's a good point to make, because I think there's a lot of misinformation on what those numbers mean when it comes to looking at houses
And what they're worth.
Yeah. Really, we've had a few people feel like
we are trying
upset.
to pull a fast one on them by what we were asking
I know
for a house. Yeah.
And I just no, these are completely different numbers that reflect different things about this property, and it's really important to know that, because it's gonna first of all, education is everything when you're buying a property. Really know what these numbers mean, and like I say, a good realtor should be able to run down this with you. Knowledge is power in this instance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next.
What's next? Reassessment upon closing, new tax value. We talked about that. Okay. So wells and water, well and municipal versus
Community well.
community well. Oh.
Yeah. So there's 3 options for where you get your water on PEI.
I guess there's a holding tank with the septic too. Anyway.
So there's 3 options. There's municipal, which is basically like city water. That's one option. The second is a well, which is like a private well. That is tested at. It is part of an offer. It is on the seller to have the water tested by a third party, so someone not involved in the transaction.
It can't even be the next door neighbor.
Well, it can be, but really, I wouldn't really trust I'm not really gonna place the.
No.
I would just bring in a plumber.
Yeah.
Pay the $150 to bring in a plumber.
Total third party.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it gets tested at the province, so it's free to test it. There's testing kits at Access PEI, and it's pretty simple. And then also when you bring the plumber in, it's getting done right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there is procedure that you have to do. You have to run the water for so long. You have to do it you're not supposed to do it at a faucet that moves and stuff like that. So there is that, and then another option is a community well, which is out in
Victoria Village.
Oh, is Victoria Village community well?
It is.
Oh, and then McMillan Point is also community well.
Even Rustico, parts of Rustico has community well as well.
Cool. So
smaller towns.
It gets tested once a year, I think.
Yes,
and the records are available.
Yes, exactly. And remediation is upon the community municipality to pay for it. Now back to the part where if you're offering on a home that has its own private well,
Yep.
as Amy said, it is upon the sellers to take care of the testing by a third party. And if any issues come up with the actual biochemistry or bio and
You have to
chemistry,
negotiate.
you have to negotiate, but it's on the sellers to make sure the water is safe and potable. So let's say it comes back with coliform and they need a UV filter. Then it is on the sellers to pay for and install the UV filter, and then they have to retest twice. Retest?
No.
5 days?
If they shock it, it has to retest twice.
Oh, right. So
if they put a UV filter, then if they shock it, they have to wait 5 days and then test twice.
Yep.
And then, but if they UV filter, then they can test right away, and
Right.
it only has to test once.
Yes, and sometimes there's a sediment filter that might be necessary if your groundwater has a lot of like red clay sediment, which is kind of like my house, quite frankly.
Do you not have sediment
No,
filter?
we don't.
Oh, you should have
Oh,
sediment.
100%. Yeah. So that said, it is upon the sellers to make sure that water is safe, drinkable, potable, 100%. Okay. So rest assured that that's on them legally. The water tests usually go to the lawyers, and then that happens. Blah 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 with the lawyers. And the whole thing. So sorry, we were going to
Wax on.
wax
Water on. Water on.
and so community wells,
Yep.
sometimes in small towns, like here, this Victoria Village, parts of Rustico, not all of Rustico, and then what was the other area you mentioned?
McMillan Point.
McMillan Point. They
Westano.
have, and there's one cottage community in Cavendish that has theirs. It's like a anyway, but it's a community well, and that means that it's I don't know how often they're tested.
I think it's
similar
yearly.
municipal? Similar? Yeah. So
We saw the water test for McMillan Point.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes, because if you're living in a municipality, so let's say you have your own private well, there's no cost bi-monthly for that water, okay? If you're on a municipal like Charlottetown, Summerside, or Montague, you have a bi-monthly water and sewage bill that's gonna come. Averages, depending on your use, probably averaging $150 a year.
I have no
150.
idea. It goes
Yeah.
on my visa and I have no
You
idea.
don't even know. Someone tracks this one is not tracking her bills. So it's averaging 150 months for the sewer and water every 2 months. Let's say that. That's based on my history of bills. So that said, if you're on community well, you are going to get a bill, but I don't know I don't know the cost or like the frequency of that bill. So that's maybe something we can ask you because
Interesting.
yeah. Is that it on that?
Yeah. And then
Septic.
septic versus municipal. So
Yeah.
so if you're a municipal, we have
Same thing.
municipal waste. And then septic, it is on the buyer to have the septic tested as an inspection clause if there is a septic field, tank and field as part of the house. Usually septic inspections, they're running about $700-ish right now.
Yep.
And that's to have someone come out, inspect the tank, pump it, and take the poop away.
Yeah, and I always feel like it's a little bit silly that we're paying to take away someone else's poop.
I know. In Nova Scotia,
I've never
it's
heard
actually
that.
on the sellers to have the tank pumped and
That makes-
receipt provided.
yeah,
Like,
that makes
like I'm
all kinds
moving
of
out,
sense.
take your poop with
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
Like,
exactly.
I know, I do wish it was like
No,
that here
it's a
too.
little backwards.
Like,
that
pack
way.
your stuff and your poop
and
go.
your poop. Take your shit.
But yeah, but I do like that the because it is like the guy's down there, like he might as well inspecting the tank.
I
Like,
know, they don't put it back in.
I know.
They never put it
And
back
you
in.
do need poop in the tank to really know if it's working.
Yeah, that's
How many
right.
times can we say poop in like 2 minutes?
Yeah.
The
septic-
refuse.
Yeah, the refuse. But in a municipal purchase, you won't do a water test, you won't do a septic test, because the municipality takes care of those things. There is a such thing as a community septic, and again, Victoria has one.
Yes.
But some small communities will have a community septic as well, and some properties will have just a holding tank and no leach field. So that's not as common. It's kind of an old method And we did sell one property out in Murray River. Remember that little red?
Oh yeah,
shed?
and that was just like literally the property was so small that
Yeah.
there just wasn't enough room to put a leach
And
field.
no, so there was just a holding tank. What it means is that it will be okay, but your frequency of pumping it is much more frequent. Like we're talking every 6 months kind of thing. So
And you can't run the water.
no, you really can't. So limitations to that. Some of those, they're not used these days, holding tanks, but they're often grandfathered into properties. So that's the scoop on the poop.
Yeah.
What
Other
else?
PEI programs. Can we go a month without talking about Iraq?
No, because
No.
Iraq has a
Although the current government
Hmm.
did put forward in the sitting, which might close today, there has been a lot of hate for Iraq.
Yeah, they're not on people's favorite list.
That's because currently our gas prices are like 20 cents higher than they are in New Brunswick.
Yeah, our regulations on gas are pretty
So
wacko.
Iraq is currently, a new feasibility study has been ordered.
Suggestion,
Yeah,
Interesting. You know,
about the feasibility of Iraq and if
Right.
it should exist anymore.
gas is so high here, I'll drive over to New Brunswick and feel like it. And pay a $20 bridge fee.
Is that a joke?
It's kind of a joke.
Oh, okay.
It's a
I
joke.
did laugh.
I know, it's funny. I thought of that.
So Iraq. So here's kind of like a time like when maybe you want to move here and rent and like find your property.
Sure.
Because of Iraq.
Yep.
And like maybe you don't know exactly what it is you're looking for. Maybe you don't know where you want to be. Maybe you want a shit ton of land.
You want waterfront.
Maybe you want a shit ton of land and waterfront.
Yeah.
But you don't want to deal with Iraq.
Yes. So what do?
You move here and you don't maybe you don't have any dogs or cats or anything, and you can just like live in a condo for a while.
So how long do you live here before you have to
You have to live here for 12 months out of 24 months consecutively before you don't have to deal with Iraq.
So what that means is you come here and you pay a year's lease for a rental.
Yeah.
And then you get established, you get to know the island, you figure out where on the island you'd like to settle down.
You find your community.
You find your people, you find your job.
You find your swath of shoreline.
Yeah, go do it. And a lot of people do this, and it's a great way to do it if you can swing it. Like you said, rental with pets is a little trickier, but rural sometimes.
See last month's discussion.
Yeah, so last month we had a discussion about
Rent, buy,
Yeah, so that approach means that if after that 12 months, or even approaching the 12 months, let's say at month 10 you start thinking about, okay, it's time to start thinking about buying. Because really, you can start 10 months in.
Oh yeah.
You can start 9 months in and close 3 months later. It's fine. So what you do is you start your process, kind of go through the roles of find your person, find your realtor, build that relationship, go through the process we just
Start
talked
looking
about.
for your land.
Go through homes, exactly. And
Get
then,
approved.
exactly. So the limitations with Iraq mean that,
165 feet of waterfront.
Yep.
Based on, please see the list that I put up
yeah,
in the group.
for explanations on waterfront. It's somewhere
It's
up
somewhere
there
in the
or
group.
down there. We should actually put that on the feature, actually. That was a good post.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that was a good one. So 165 feet of waterfront is
Yeah.
a limit. So you could do 164 and you'd be fine.
You could do 162.
We're doing that
I
right
know.
now, actually, yeah. And then, what's the next one? 5 acres and over of land, you have to go through Iraq. So
Yeah.
you could have 4.9 acres. We've, skirted around those numbers. So those are your limitations. If you're moving here and you don't want 10 acres of land, you can just do that right away. Don't have to go through Iraq.
Yeah.
But otherwise, be here for a year, just get your life in order, and then buy.
Find your place. The other thing is you're paying 1% of the purchase price, plus you're paying $1,500 to $2,000 in extra lawyer fees to do the application.
Yeah.
Plus it's adding at least a month
Mm-hmm.
to 2 months onto the purchase timeline.
Yeah.
to do the IRAC application.
That's right, because it is a long condition, and much like the SOBP, it kind of holds things up.
Yep.
And it's at the whim of the schedule of IRAC in whether they can approve it or not.
Yep.
So again, it's one of those conditions you have to put into an offer. It can hold things up, and it can go sideways.
I mean, it can be
Go
fine.
either way. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. We have no control over that as realtors, and we really don't have any further information as to how that would go. But we do know what would help make a really good application, and that's where your lawyer is going to help as well with the application to IRAC itself.
Yeah.
Good times.
The next one that I have is another PEI program, which is the Down Payment Assistance Program.
That's right.
And we've actually had somebody who moved here from Ontario, and they moved here and they bought a house using the Down Payment Assistance Program,
That's right.
and it was awesome because
They didn't have any down
they
payment.
didn't have any down payment, and they were able to utilize a PEI program
Totally.
and establish residency.
What that meant, however, is they needed an income on the island to prove. They did need an income here, or at least a job set up. There was
Yeah.
an appointment lever. So there's a few things that you're going to need in order to, if you're coming from away, to be able to utilize that 5% down payment assistance program.
It does cap your purchase, like your property purchase price at $350. But if you're looking outside of the Charlottetown area, outside of like Summerside, like if you're looking outside of like the major town areas, then you're probably great.
You can be within 30 minutes of a major municipality.
Oh
and
yeah, like
very
I mean,
comfortable
like
here.
Mount Stewart, like
Yes.
Brunelton,
Brunelton. Yeah. North
Yeah.
Winslow.
Yeah. And it does have an income cap as well.
Yes.
But this is something that's a great option, that if you're coming from away and you want to purchase the property, but you don't have, because you've been living in Toronto or Calgary or Vancouver or
Who's got extra
Victoria,
cash?
who's been saving
Yeah.
in addition
Yeah.
to like everything else, a down payment.
Yeah.
It does require that you don't have any other means to pay the down payment. So like you don't have RRSP or TFSA, home buyer programs.
Or HSP, what is it called? A housing, the house, it's like
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah,
savings.
one of those
Same.
acronym
Yeah.
things. And it does cap your income level at $110,000. So, but this is a program that even though you're not a resident of PEI right now, it is an option to people moving here to PEI.
Yep.
And it's totally possible.
Totally. So you don't have that 5%. The government will cover $17,500 with a cap of $350.
Yep.
And a cap of $110,000 of household income.
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
And there is also a closing cost
That's
payment
right.
program.
Yes, the closing cost payment program. Now, we haven't really utilized that a whole lot.
No, we haven't.
No, and we should more,
Probably.
because again, that's for first time home buyers, right? Yeah, cool, tell us more.
Oh, I didn't look up that one.
Okay, we'll do a second. I think we should do another video on because there's a new HST rebate program.
Yeah, I gotta watch that webinar.
Yeah,
I
me
couldn't
too.
log on to it.
No,
It
no.
wouldn't let me in. It was like Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, well, we should do another one on rebates available to new buyers, including the sales and the closing costs. Yeah, that would be another video.
That's a whole other
That's a whole other kettle of fish. But yeah, there's money out there. It's just, again, like, team up with someone who's got your back and got the resources, because there are lots of ways out there. And a good mortgage broker or a good bank broker are gonna have resources for you as well. So really, you're looking to build a team around you that's gonna kind of help move everything in the right order substantially.
Yeah. The last thing that I have on our list is the market seasonality. And when is a good time to buy in PEI? And so we have our strong buying market. Generally runs like April to early August. That's like our spring summer market. Yeah, we're in the height of it right now. Definitely right now. There has been a slow to pick up inventory though, so we're kind of feeling a little bit of an inventory crunch right now.
It's true. I thought there'd be a lot more right now.
I don't know.
It's interesting. But right now we are in a buyer's market.
Yeah.
I would say strongly.
So that just means that buyers can
Be a little more choosy. Push
ask
a little
for a little bit more.
Yeah.
Usually mid-August though, early August, buyers kind of start, and sellers are kind of like, you know what? Summer's kind of starting to wrap up. I want to soak up as much of the sun and the beach and everything that I can. So things kind of pause, and they pause until late September, and then things start to pick up for another fall bump in the
Once
market.
kids are back in school.
Kids are back in school. Maybe the schedule has kind of like settled back in. And then we have another bumped market until early December.
Totally.
This last year we found that we had a good bump until like pretty much like the holidays. Yeah, we didn't really settle down. We saw like a
really strong push. October
until
through
all the way to like
December.
Like December 20th.
And
We
we
were
were
like,
tired.
I want to have Christmas.
So tired.
It's Christmas now.
I think I fell asleep a lot of times with like a Christmas book in my room. So I'm like, I'm so tired. Yeah, that was crazy, man. But it's true. Like, and then we've been reasonably busy since January, but there's a lot of like get ready to go kind of mess that happens in this gig. And buyers and sellers are thinking about it as well. There's a lot that we talk to our clients about, like, okay, well, if you want to get ready to sell in the spring, this is when you should start, and this is how you should prepare. So those conversations kind of take place all year round. And buyers, you know, a lot of you, there's a lot to be said about buying outside of the seasonal behavior as well, like less competition, maybe better bargaining opportunities.
More bargaining power, because the people that are still on the market are the ones that really want to sell.
Yeah, and they're giving the off season a chance, right? Because there is this mentality that spring's the time to list and spring's the time to buy, but it doesn't always work that way. And I think if you're open and being savvy about it, you can snag a hot deal.
Can you?
In November.
You can snag a hot deal.
Chickadee-doo. But yeah, so, you know, again, like relationships, man. Just get to know your people that's working with you, and your realtor will help you with those resources and just get you on your way.
Yeah.
I think most of the time we have a really enjoyable time with our clients. It can be a very enjoyable process. There's a lot of reward, there's a lot of growth, there's a lot of knowledge. And people just really like their lifestyles here. So it's cool.
I think the big thing that I would say is, like, if you're working especially remotely with an agent, really make sure that agent is communicating well with you.
Yes.
I was chatting with someone a couple weeks ago, and they had come to me after working with someone, and that previous agent just was not working for them. Like, they did not communicate well. They did not, like,
and forget them in the wings.
Yeah, and they did not pass along a lot of information, and they just felt like rejected and neglected.
That sucks.
And then it was just like, it did not make it a good experience for them to prepare to move here.
Totally.
Like, I think what I would always want to say is, like, make sure that the agent that you're working with, and again, this is not just a me and Brooke thing, because like I said, there's always going to be other agents out there who are always going to do a fantastic job for you.
100%.
There are also a lot of agents out there who are not going to necessarily click and do their best for you. So just make sure that you find one who does.
Yeah, absolutely. Follow your gut.
And always make sure to advocate for yourself. It's just like when you go to the doctor, you need to make sure that you are advocating for yourself and saying what you need, and making sure that you're advocating for yourself and making sure that you're heard.
And you trust the people that are working for you and with you. Trust is a big one.
You're making a big step and taking a big, leap, and
someone is handling hundreds of thousands of dollars, of your money. It's crazy. So you can't take this stuff for granted. You just gotta follow your gut. We always tell people, follow your gut. If that does not feel like the right house, you want to leave the situation, follow your gut.
If your gut's gurgling,
it's okay
to say no.
Yeah, exactly. And again, a good realtor will say, you know what, you're changing your mind, no problem. They're not a really good person, you should look for someone that's not going to berate you or make you feel like you have to buy a property just because they put that time and energy into it, right? So really stick to your guns on those little green flags, I like to call them, because there are moments where you're going to want to change your mind, and you have to trust that your realtor or your mortgage broker is just going to say, you know what, it's okay to change your mind. This is it's about you, So yeah, stick to your guns on that.
We had some clients down a couple weeks ago, and we looked at a bunch of properties.
Oh yeah.
And
then they kind of said, you know what? Our gut is telling us it's not the right time to purchase right now and move from Ontario to PEI. And we were like, hey man, nice to see you. Come back and visit us next summer.
Great.
Yeah, good on you for making a good decision. And that's okay. Like, people feel apologetic, like they owe you something, but they really don't. We're here for the whole process. You're kind of stuck with your real, you get a good one, hold on to them, but then they'll treat you well, right? So you should be able to trust that saying, you know what, this isn't right for me. That's okay.
Yeah.
It really is okay. But yeah, and I know that those folks will come back because they love PEI and they felt like this is a second home. It's just not their time.
It's just not the right time.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
Awesome. Good on you.
PEI will still be here.
It's going to be here.
Theoretically, maybe not in like 200 years.
Maybe 3 or 4 islands separately.
Yeah, but you know what? In 3 years, we're still going to be here.
It's true. And we've even had clients that say, you know what, I think I need to make a 5-year plan, and or we're going to rent for 3 years, and then we'll call you when we're ready to buy. And again, great, do you. And that's why we like to have rental resources here as well as purchasing stuff and selling stuff, because it's just all part of the game. It's, again, trust your gut.
Unless your gut's gurgling.
Yeah, and then get some Pepto.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be a t-shirt. Trust your gut, and then the back, unless your belly's gurgling, and some Pepto. Okay, that's good.
Let's end it there.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks, guys. I know that was a long one, but all these little tidbits, we're going to bust it up a little bit in some tidbits and repost those, I think. But yeah, again, good topic.
I haven't quite figured out what our topic next will be.
I like the idea of we should maybe in one of them summarize this and kind of dig into those ones, but maybe we'll ask the people.
Well, I did, and I got some posts, but I haven't.
Oh, well, let's go back and see what they said, and then kind of do that. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll kind of do what you want.
Okay, I don't have a topic yet.
That's okay. We'll figure out the topic and we'll post it, and then we're gonna ask you again for some more insight. So send us a message if you have questions, right below, right on the page. Get involved, support each other, and be good to each other. Be nice, everyone. Everybody be nice to each other.
And go plant some flowers.
Go have fun. Go get some sunshine. Is it here, baby?
It's not here. I hear Montreal is really nice right now.
Oh.
It's really warm.
It's coming. It's coming. Just
really